Coach. Just some opening remarks on tonight's game.
Well, I mean, I think it was 12 turnovers in the first quarter, 14 for the half. So I think that's the way to put yourself in a hole. I think they had 20 points off the turnovers, maybe in the first half. Um, then obviously I think we shot 23% from three in the first half. So that's a combination to be down big, and we were only down 12. So I told the guys we're right there. We're in striking distance. I knew it's a long game. That team is a very good team. It's well coached. We always have battles. So I'm just glad our guys kept fighting, and we actually came through it and got the win.
And then for you during that second half, where you guys just come out of the gate, making small little runs and continuing to make those small little runs. What did you tell the team at the break that just came out firing at all cylinders?
Well, I mean, I just encouraged them. I told them, I'm like, we're down 12. We could be down big, a lot more. We have 14 turnovers. And then I told them, like, listen, we're still the team that can score in bunches. This is the G League. I said, so we got to clean up some stuff defensively. Now, offensively, stay aggressive. Not kind of, there's some tactical stuff that we talked about, and I think that helped us in the second half. But just gave them confidence, and I think they came out with confidence.
And then two more questions on my end. Keeping in Trevor Huggins with 5 fouls, what did you see from their defensive sets that you kind of allowed Huggins to move around offensively and create opportunities to just get offensive chances in?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you see on the other end defensively, it was tough for Trevor because they were trying to pick on Trevor. They were trying to get him in the post. They were trying to like get bigger guys on him so they can exploit that. So once we clean that up, and I told Trevor, like I said, just keep your hands high because we're gonna need you. As far as defensively, keep your hands high. We're gonna need you on the offensive end. So we just kept trying to run a lot of actions around him that created confusion so he can get loose. And I think he made a couple big buckets. Obviously, the last bucket was the biggest.
And the last one, you normally tell your team to have a little bit of an open selection. Darius Days took that three. Was that just something in the playbook that you normally run in practice, where guys, have an open shot, take it?
Yeah, I think the timing of that three wasn't correct, to be honest. And I have to look at it again. But me and the staff talked about that. Like, probably shouldn't have took that. But I give my guys confidence, and all this is learning. Like the last game we lost, we looked at the film, and the guys learned from some of the mistakes they made down the stretch. So even when we win, we're gonna learn from that part.
Thanks, coach.
Yep.
Coach, I think the biggest momentum change in the second half, at least, was the 3 point shooting. You had three in the first half, nine in the second half, and overtime. Talk about going into the locker room, talking about that, and just switching the gears
Yeah.
towards the win.
Well, we didn't talk about the threes just because we were shooting really bad, so we didn't want to put too much pressure on them. We just told them to stay confident, and I mean, I joke with my staff after the game. I'm like, it's funny, right? You look at the stat sheet where we shot 37%. We were shooting 22% in the first half. So I'm not saying the game is determined by that, but you gotta. It's a pretty good chance to win if you shoot close to 40%. And for us, it's really like that because our offense is built to shoot threes.
I think another big factor was even though Trevor Hudgens had those 5 fouls, he used guys like Cassius Stanley to come in off the bench and score 23 points. Talk about that momentum of working him in the game today.
So Cash is probably like I tell people he's as far as driving the basketball, going downhill and making a play, and just being able to absorb contact is one of the best I've ever seen. Like he's that dynamic. He reminds me of Anthony Edwards when I coached him in Minnesota. So we just got to give him space, and like he did a great job of getting to the basket and absorbing the contact and finishing. Try to make some of the plays in the pocket. Had some turnovers, but I told him to stay aggressive with that because teams are going to press up on him. And if he can make some of them passes, it's going to be tough to guard him.
Speaking of guarding people, Gary Clark, guys like that, came huge for the Capitanes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys do to compete with them again on Thursday?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, they're a tough team. I think they're well coached. They got a great staff over there, so we just got to be prepared. Prepare for what they did to us the first game and match their intensity. I think the first quarter they were just a step slow, and they were just ready to go. So whatever we did before that, where we ate before that, we're not eating again. Everything's going to change, so we can be ready to go.
I thought Trey Mitchell was really gutsy at the end.
Yeah.
Went down hard on his shoulder, but still got up and kind of tried to set that play. Didn't hit the shot that time, but I thought he might have thought about taking the shot, but maybe he couldn't shoot that time. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, so well, obviously we figured that out after he gets checked out a little more, but he did get hurt, and I think it was hard for him to move his shoulder. So it was something with his shoulder, and they're dealing with that now. So hopefully he's ready for Thursday. But Trey is just Trey. I mean, he's, like I don't know one coach wouldn't want him on the team. So he's the best.
And there was one stat, I don't know if it's any significance at all, but you only had one assist after the first quarter, and you had about 24 more. Is that any kind of significant at all? That you only had one assist?
Oh, I mean, you think about this: 12 turnovers will get you that only one assist. You're giving the ball up. This game is pretty simple. You when you talk about offense, you want more possessions than them, more attempts at the rim, more shots than them. The way you do that is you get extra possessions, you get offensive rebounds, you create turnovers. If you give them the ball, then they get extra possessions. They get offensive rebounds, they get extra possessions. So it was pretty simple. We kept giving them the ball, they kept getting extra possessions and converting 20 points in that first half. So I think that one assist was just, might have been lucky. I don't know what that was. So